Is it time? Oh, it's time. Live from the marvelous Hollywood Studios. Hosted by local sports analyst Dee Trynt, we present to you Game Changer Sports Talk. And today, we're going to do a little something different. We're going to bring to you NBA draft talk, okay? We finally had the lottery after the pandemic, the quarantine hiatus, the NBA bubble. We finally had the draft lottery. And this draft lottery, it was quite interesting. I really want to say, I feel like the NBA did a real number, okay? Me personally, I kind of think some of these things are pre-scripted. You know, I mean, it's a very good chance that all this stuff is really done live, and it's not calculated and things like that. But I was really looking forward to the New York Knicks getting the number 1 pick in the draft. I think this has to be said, and I think this should be said a lot more. The New York Knicks, to be the biggest market, historic franchise, and to never ever in the history of the NBA ever have a number 1 overall pick, is something wrong with that. Something has to change. All right. We understand that, the New York Knicks aren't what we would call ran properly as an organization. People will point the finger at upper management, specifically the owner. But I'm not going to do all that. What I am going to, point out is that right now, the New York Knicks do have young talent. They have cap space, and they have a nice rejuvenation of their front office and head coaching. I don't think Fizdale should have been let go, but that's another story for another conversation for another day. All right. Thank you for tuning in to Game Changer Sports Talk. And today we are covering the NBA draft lottery, draft prospects, predictions, trade scenarios. I mean, listen, when I tell you it is going to get wild on this segment of Game Changer Sports Talk, it is going to get wild, okay? So, quickly, I'll run through in the beginning what the draft order is, all right? And with the number 1 overall pick in the 2020 draft, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. I do like the fact that Minnesota got the pick, even though I prefer New York. But it's nice to see a small market team get the pick and have a chance to really turn their franchise around. All right. And Minnesota has made a few moves. They're also currently could be on the move as far as owner wise. They could have, a different person running the show. But that's another conversation for another day too. The number 2 overall pick went to the Golden State Warriors, the 3-time NBA champion, 5-time straight appearances. They still have a loaded squad, even though this past season they were off because of injuries. I mean, they had a bad last playoff. Unfortunately, a few things did not go their way or in their favor, and it lingered over to this past season. And they were blessed to get the number 2 pick. So that's interesting. The number 3 pick goes to the Charlotte Hornets. The Charlotte Hornets. Owner Michael Jordan getting a top 3 pick. I think the last time he had a top 3 pick, he took Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. And the Hornets they're trying to get it together. They got a nice young core over there, I believe. They've definitely put together some talented young pieces. It'll be interesting to see what they do in that position. Number 4, the Chicago Bulls. The team that Michael Jordan made famous, or vice versa, however you want to put that. The Bulls have a collection of great talent. They actually have young pieces and young veteran pieces that have polished games. So it'll be interesting what they want to do at number 4. At number 5, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now here I feel some type of way because I felt like the Cleveland Cavaliers should have still had a top 3 pick. I think it's amazing that 14% chance as well as Minnesota and Golden State to get a top 3 pick, and they literally land the farthest they could land. Well, the farthest they could have landed was 6, but they ended up landing 5. So I don't know if that's just a shot at the way they've been handling the development of their young players. I mean, because all our number 1 picks could be on the same team together still right now, but one is in Los Angeles, who is in the playoffs. The other one is in Brooklyn playing with the Nets and KD. And the other one is playing currently for the Warriors. So the Cavs have an interesting draft positioning, especially with, what they have on a roster and what they're anticipated to do. But we'll see. Number 6, the Atlanta Hawks, who are led by Trae Young, and they have a lot of young pieces. They brought in a couple other pieces mid-season, so it'll be interesting to see what they want to do with the number 6 pick. Do they keep it? Do they trade it? Who knows, Number 7, the Detroit Pistons. Now, I felt like Detroit should have got a higher pick, but we all know the epic failure of the last time Detroit had a top 3 pick, and instead of taking Carmelo Anthony, who was a franchise game changer, they took Darko Milicic, who they never developed. So it'll be interesting to see what Detroit can and will do with the team they have, the cap space they will have, and their draft positioning. At number 8, the New York Knicks, who I felt like God did the dirtiest. Now, granted, when it came down to percentages and chances of them getting a pick, they were picked to probably get slotted at number 8. But as I said in the beginning, I just felt like for that market, for that franchise, for what that team does for the NBA, I just felt like they should have had a first round pick. I mean, they should have had a number 1 overall first round pick, excuse me. And that's just my stance on it, all right? But New York has a nice collection of little talent. Like I said in the beginning, they have a rejuvenated or renovated front office, and we'll see what they want to do, all right? At number 9, the Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards, man. I don't really know what to say about the Wizards, but it'll be nice to see the team fully healthy in the upcoming season. John Wall has been out the better part of 2.5, almost 3 seasons. Bradley Beal is really coming to his own in that time and really taking over the team, sort of say. But to hear those guys say they play well together, I think I've always felt like they were missing a big man to bring them together. They had a couple pieces over there, Gortat and Bobby Portis, and Jabari Parker was over there, and I mean they try to do a few things, but whatever the case, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with 9 and their stretch 4s that they have, and their 2 cornerstone pieces in the backcourt. And at number 10, because we're only doing the top 10 picks, right? The top 10 picks to me are the most important to the draft, because a lot of the movement that will happen or could happen throughout the draft usually is kind of ignited by what happens within the first 10 picks. This is just from my personal view or my personal opinion of the NBA draft over the course of its history, especially in a new era when there's lesser rounds. It's only been 2 rounds, and the objective of landing a quality pick all the time is way more higher. All right, but at number 10, the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns are very, very, very interesting, being that they were just 1 game from actually being in the playoffs. They have a couple cornerstone pieces. They have a couple of nice veterans to go with them. They have a new coach. And look, it looked like the Phoenix Suns are going places. So, like I say, thank you for tuning in to Game Changer Sports Talk, live from the marvelous Hollywood Studios.